Welcome back. Look what I found. Shout out Big Judah. You already know, homie. Good looks doing the research so I don't have to.
I heard about it from Malcolm up from GMS, Chicago, like years ago. And there's like a thin one. And we have that one too, but then there was a much thicker one. It had way more photos. And those are a lot of the photos that you're seeing that supposedly Putin's bringing out of his vaults. And I'm like, how are you bringing these out of the vaults when these have been published since like 1989? So it's not like these weren't already, obviously in circulation. Many of these pictures have been out in circulation. So why is it always...
What Big Judah's talking about is how now in Russia, they're showing that the first Christians were black people and that Christ was black and that they literally bowed down and worshiped black people. And even the Pope bowed down to a black Jesus picture. So what the fuck are you bound down to what you're bound down to?
I was saying, Putin's bringing out these pictures out of a vault when they're in a book from 1989. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
It makes sense to me, Big Judah. Our father said they get to lie and lie and lie. And when you wake up and say, if you don't tell the truth, my father's gonna have his way with you, then he starts doing it for real. We woke up and now there's a lot of us and we keep saying, Daddy, we need help. We can't prove it. We can't make nothing make sense, even though, the books that they wrote, and even though they told their people one thing, they wrote the truth, and their own people don't believe the books they wrote. They don't believe me, but they don't believe their own people. So who the fuck do they believe? Anything that makes them feel good and makes us look bad.
But again, what it is the Most High has us bring out information, and then they try to get themselves in the mix, as if it's them that have been the ones that have brought out this information or brought this understanding.
Technically, Judah, they did. They're the ones that wrote the books with the truth in it, and we learned the truth by reading their books. We can't go to not one black man ever and be like, your word's 100% true. Why? Because they fucked all of our minds up, and we don't know what the truth is. So the Lord said, don't worry. I make all bad people tell the truth on themselves anyway. You just got to prove yourself worthy and go look for it.
The Most High made sure that we got our hands on this book years ago. And when we got it for, it was a really expensive book, but they were also going later on after we started making videos out of it. I saw one that was for sale for $8,000.
Jeez, Louise.
Last time I saw there was one for sale for like over $4,000 recently. But there's not very many of those books out there. And they're much cheaper, I guess, as you were further away from this time, they were cheaper. Less people were looking for these books and looking for this information, right? But now that we're towards the end and, as they're being exposed, they're making it more and more difficult to get this information. But the Most High made sure He put these things into our hands before this. And these were things that we were bringing out already. But yes, after I purchased this book, there were some that were for sale. There was one for sale for over $8,000. So Putin's not bringing anything new. They've all known this, and it's funny because it's all over like TikTok and people making videos on YouTube. I'm sure other social media platforms like, we will only worship a black God or a black Jesus or whatever else. I was like, so now, a week before, a couple of weeks before April 8th, all of a sudden now you want to talk about worshiping a black Jesus
Yes. Because April 1st is Jesus' real birthday, and by the 8th, what did his father do in 7 days? So, whatever he did all those years, he did something. And by the 8th day, something's gonna happen. And I keep saying the same thing. If y'all don't tell the truth, if y'all don't get y'all boot off our neck, if you don't let the smart ones that know the truth go, and the rest of the dummies, you can have them. That's what the Lord said. If you don't, the Lord said He's going to rock and roll. So I can't do nothing.
But you still don't talk about black people. But, just shows the hypocrisy. Like, you guys are all in this together. You guys have all been confederate with hiding all of this information. You have no intention, you had no intentions of following the Most High in truth, right? You had no intentions of that. And even now, you're only giving it lip service. That's all that you guys do. You'll say things like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, you're right. And then you'll go right back to doing the same things that you were doing before. Just like yesterday.
The Bible says what you do to the little of them, you do directly to him. If you take care of the ones on the bottom, he'll bless your whole nation. Well, you know, if that's really true, then the world can prove it. And whoever wants to get their country or state really good, you go find niggas like me and you say, here, the book says to house you and feed you and let you, you know, call the Lord down over here so we get protected. And then we get blessings. Remember, Danny?
So it was even Palm Sunday yesterday. But, you know, people will go to church. They won't think for themselves. They'll only go by what their pastors and priests say. Won't question anything.
Until my father starts hitting them with plagues and storms, and then those people are going to start looking at their priest and shit like, wait up, you're not even protected, but that dirty-ass black nigga is? How the fuck is that? Because I'm the priest and he's a phony.
Won't question how you get eggs from a rabbit, but they'll continue to go to church and not question anything that they are told. Right? So this is just, all this is doing is just marking people. So they can't say that they did not know, because it's all people all over social media. So
Mark of the beast? Would it be funny if the mark of the beast was the devil telling everybody the truth they choose, so then you don't get the mark of the Lord in your mind, in your head? And now you think what he wants you to think. Those niggas ain't shit and I'll do whatever I want to them. And then you find out like the Egyptians.
I was going to put it all over social media. So if you just, you know, swipe and next story, oh, that's just not true. That's okay. Because like I said, that's just going to be a testimony against you. That's all that the Most High is doing.
He's making a list. He's checking it twice. He already knows who's naughty and nice. You got one fucking chance before your ass get took off the list.
At this point, you know, he's calling the ones. He's been calling us. He's awakening the ones that he's been wanting to deal with, and he's marking other people. Now, I did hear this black pastor who was talking about the Russian icons. And he's like, well, even those pictures.
Alright, give me a sec.
Black pastor for the, you know, Constantine Christian Church. He was saying pretty much, well, it doesn't matter if the Jews were black, even though these pictures, even if they're true, it doesn't take away from our Constantine Christianity. I was like, you know, the hypocrisy. How does that not take away from your Constantine Christianity? See, that just shows you that truth doesn't matter to a fool. Truth does not matter to these people. Okay? Of course.
The truth matters to them. They know once they say the truth, all those people they lied to, they're going to wake up from the spell and be like, wait up, it's in the book, and you keep saying you know the book, but you never read these parts to me. And then they're going to see the book and see that it says charlatan, lying-ass devil worshippers are doing that. And then they're going to get the hammers out.
It matters, because if it didn't matter, you would have never hid these pictures.
Well, he's having technical difficulty, and I know I only got 2 minutes left. I just want to be left alone. And I'm real confident in the fact that my Lord protects me. And I'm real confident that everything I make an episode about, shit that I don't even notice until I go watch it again, and then the Lord's predicting shit through me saying things, and then a commercial or something else will happen, and I'm like, oh, that means this, but I wasn't even doing, what the fuck? And then in real life, the shit happens. So I'm like, listen, man, I ain't really much to teach except, you know, the basics and shit that, you know,